There you go, one of the easiest autumn desserts that you could make. Absolutely fantastic for fall, for autumn. That's a comforting pudding right there, come on. Hi everyone, welcome to Backyard Chef. I'm Rick. Today we're going to do one of the possibly easiest apple dessert dishes anybody can make, apart from stewed apples and custard or cream or whatever, but we're going to make apple cobbler. It's so easy. Now, you don't have to mess around with pastry. I'm not going to say it's gluten-free because we're using flour, but you know, I'm sure all the people out there can make this gluten-free. It's easy to make. We peel, we slice some apples, we make a cobbler, we chuck it in the oven, we serve it up with some custard. It's an easy dessert. Anyone can do this. Come on. And don't forget, it's apple time. There's apples everywhere now. You know, I picked these up and these were reduced. As per usual. But they're reduced. There's nothing wrong with these apples. They're absolutely fantastic. Anyway, come on, let's crack on. So, any which way around you want to do it, you can peel your apples or you can make your cobbler. It doesn't matter. We're going to peel the apples because there's just over a kilo of apples here. That's quite a lot. Grab yourself a knife. Oven today 180. Okay, you're just going to peel and slice your apple. You can dice them, it doesn't matter. You know, this is what makes these type of recipes so simple. You know, you just peel them, core them, slice or dice, chuck them in there. So off we go. Peel, core, slice and dice. Grab a green one and then we've done one of each. Obviously these are Granny Smiths and this is a variety called Breeze, and I can be quite honest, they're rubbish. I don't know who grows them, I don't really care to be honest. They're tasteless, they really are tasteless. So they're going in here as a filler because these Granny Smiths have flavour. And there'll be the people who bleat on about Braeburns and things like that. Look, if you can get Braeburns, use them. Right, we need to be coring these. And we want to slice them. But we're going to slice, you can, like I say, you can cube. Okay, but we want to be slicing these a good centimetre thick. A centimetre is about that thick. Okay, and in there. Okay, now you can go thinner. You don't have to get a tape measure out. You know, it's all about the apples. If they're too thick, you're going to end up with big chunks in there. If they're too thin, they're all going to disappear. And don't forget, you can slice and dice any which way you want. If you want big, small, just get on with it. Okay, I'm going to crack on and do all of these. And then we'll be ready for the next stage. Come on. There's all our apples piled up in there, look. Different sizes. I've cut them slightly thicker, some thinner, because I want some to dissolve in there, and I want some crunch. So it's entirely up to you. A centimetre thick is the aiming point, but vary it for different textures in your apple cobbler. So I'm going in there with white sugar, brown sugar. Now I'm going to use English mixed spice. You can use pumpkin spice, not a problem. Or you can put about a teaspoon of cinnamon and a quarter teaspoon of nutmeg. So we're going to do about that much, a good teaspoon. What, some lemon juice? What a knife. Where's my knife? Just washed it. Now we want about a tablespoon of lemon juice in there. Want a little bit of salt, optional, but I tell you, with the sugar, you need something to ignite your taste buds. Want about a tablespoon of corn flour or cornstarch, whatever you know it by. That'll do. In there, a little splash of water. Give it all a good mix, and that is our filling. Come on, it doesn't get any easier than this. Done. One side. In here, all-purpose plain flour. A couple of teaspoons of baking powder, somewhat like that. Want some sugar. Want some salt. Want to find a whisk. That's in there. I want some butter. Which is melted. Something like that. Before that drops off that knife, in there, a little bit of butter around the bottom of your dish. This dish is an 8 by 8 or a 20 centimetre by 20 centimetre, something like that. You know, for dishes like this, you know, I don't mean a dish like this, I mean a dish like this, we always butter out. But you know, the apples are not going to do anything. They're all going to be runny in the bottom. So, but anyway, come on, tradition. In here, now you've got your hands dirty, bring that butter in and make some lovely little breadcrumbs. Like you're making pastry. Come on, bring it all in. Right, we want to make a little bit of a batter dough here, so we're going to go in there with some milk. I want a little bit of vanilla in there. Oh, something like that. We need it to taste of something. And we bring it all in. We do not overwork this. It's got to be a goo. There we go. You don't get much more gooier than that. Come on, get your hands washed. Let's get it all put together. Okay, bring in our tray. All we got to do is get our apple mix in there. Bah, there's some juices being released here already, look. Now you can just tip all this in if you want, but I want to see how much juice I've got coming out in the bottom. I want juice in here, but you know, it depends. In fact, it's okay, we're going to tip it all in. I'm still going to put it in like this though, then I can layer it out. I'm writing a letter to Santa. I need a bigger baking dish. Either that or put less in. No way. Now, if you were an old style cook, you would put a couple of dobs of butter on there. That's obviously going to sink down into there. It's going to give us a really nice buttery apple. Okay, it's straightforward. Dob that on there. And you don't have to put it on and level it out. You just want to be daubing on. Now what you do is you leave gaps in between by daubing it on, this stuff is going to steam and bake. So it's going to puff up, obviously. For all those people who are just starting to bake, there you go. Okay, and you make it really old school. You go on there with some demerara sugar, a little sprinkling over the top. This is not demerara, this is caramel granulated. It makes not a jot of difference. Okay, entirely up to you. On there, a little bit of sugar for that sugary crunch on the top. Don't forget, this is an old school recipe, an old school pudding. And I don't mean school days, I mean an old time recipe. Okay, that goes in the oven. It's going in 30, 35, 40 minutes, something like that. We should get a nice golden top on there and it should melt down. Let's get it in the oven, come on. Okay, we've done your time. Look at that. Bubbling goodness with a crunchy top. Come on. Look at that. Superb. That's one of the easiest desserts to make. Stick that on after your Sunday dinner. Wow, come on. Look at that thing. Right, we're going to leave that about 10 minutes. Within that 10 minutes, we're going to make some custard. Okay, we're just going to knock up some instant custard for this. Nice and straightforward. You can use well-known brand, or you can make your own and make a heck of a lot more. There's a link on the channel now if you want to go ahead and make instant custard. When you make custard with this, you've got to add sugar and all the rest of it. My mix has already got it in. You just put that in there, add milk, heat up, serve up, done. And we're going to go in there with a couple of tablespoons of this. This is my instant custard mix. Go in there with your milk. We'll have about that much. Give it a whiskey so that all goes in there. You don't have to heat it too quick, just heat it nice and slow until it thickens. If you take it too far, chuck in some more milk or some water, up to you. And there we go. We've got our fantastic custard. Now, if you want thick and lumpy custard, keep cooking it. That will do. Flame off. Let's serve up. Come on. Come on, there's nothing fancy about serving this one up. It's in. Get in that cobbler top. Oh yeah. And we're in. Look in there. Dump that on there. Oh, it's on. Come on. Look at that. I'll take some more of that cobbler. Oh, oh yes, please. Come on, you know it's got to be done. On there. Oh, come on. There you go, one of the easiest autumn desserts that you could make. Absolutely fantastic for fall, for autumn. That's a comforting pudding right there. Come on. There you go, no more words than that. Easy, delicious, simple apple cobbler. Come on, let's get some of these apples. A little bit of crunch there and I can see the soft. A bit of cobbler, a bit of custard. Oh, some apple. Oh yeah. Absolutely sensational. Fantastic autumn pudding. That is delicious, so easy to make. Tell your friends how easy it is to make an apple cobbler. Come on, old school, fantastic dessert, easy to do. If you like what we're doing, big thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, ring that bell. Catch you in the next video.